I'm Georgia and welcome to William Buck, a firm that is reimagining the way advisors work. Come with me and take a peek behind closed doors. Exceptional advice comes from passionate people who feel empowered to shape outcomes. Our teams include audit and assurance, business advisory, corporate finance, restructuring and insolvency, superannuation, tax and wealth advisory. These teams work together to create a tangible impact for our clients. Events such as staff breakfasts, colleague lunches, trivia nights and regular parties allow our people to build relationships inside and out of the office. And between our social club and run club, there's something for everyone. William Buck is the perfect place to start, grow or take your career to the next level. We have robust training to aid growth opportunities and boost career development. Changing lives is our underlying philosophy, and the William Buck Foundation formalises our community and volunteer initiatives, allowing us to better work with charities and organisations most in need. Your physical and mental well-being is super important to us. Our flexible workplace allows you to better balance your professional and personal life. And we're lucky enough to have an in-house psychologist to help you be your best. If you want to join a company where friendships are made and careers are built, then come on over to a firm that's delivering more than just advice.
I'm here at Urban Surf supporting the Bright Sky and Forwardability adaptive surfing event, and super excited to see first timers to people like Sam Bloom who have competed on the world stage.
Got over 30 surfers here registered to jump in the water with us today, and there's a real buzz, lots of excitement. Bright Sky and Forward, we've been around for 64 years supporting people with spinal cord injury, and through Bright Sky we're able to fund an event like this.
I'm excited, it's electric out here, so much energy.
There's a huge crew, the weather has turned it on, it's going to be a sick day, I'm super keen, get some waves with some mates.
We're lucky to have Sam Bloom here. She's a great ambassador for forward ability support, but also a great advocate for surfing.
Sick event, it's cool to have so many surfers out here, and wild setup with Urban Surf and Bright Sky and Cywood, and yeah, it's going to be bad.
You couldn't get a better setup for getting into surfing for adaptive athletes.
It's incredible that Bright Sky and Forwardability have put this event on and have made it happen, and yeah, obviously with the support of Cywood. So no, it's awesome. I hope we'll do many more events like this.
Hello, I'm Miriam Latu. I'm playing for the Sydney Blues this season. Please get behind us and get around the 2026 season. Yay!
I'm Shelley Matheson, and we're at the Victorian Institute of Sport training session, which happens after Play On. Play On is a women's and girls wheelchair basketball program for development. Myself and former teammate, Paralympian Leanne Daltoso, we realised that there was no place for women to get involved in wheelchair basketball. And wheelchair basketball has been such a passion and a lifelong thing of both of us that we just wanted to open up our community to more women, so we created the Play On program.
program is it's a special one. We cater for women who just want to connect socially, be involved in basketball, learn new skills, make new friends, but also we cater for those ambitious girls and women who want to actually excel and get to the Paralympic level. So this is that grassroots level where they can come in, learn, have fun, play, and whatever their pathway is, they can start their journey here.
I love sport, I love being an athlete, but for me it's always provided community and connection. And when you're a little disabled girl growing up in the country, you don't always have that. So when I first found wheelchair basketball, I found people like me, I found a community, and I fell in love with the sport and the people. And some of my best friends in the entire world I found on a basketball court.
I come here every week and I see the smiles on their face, their friends, they want to work hard. They want to show you what they're capable of. It's not just about them, it's actually about their family that sit on the sidelines and the siblings that can jump in and be a part of it. I love that. It just, everyone has a place in the sport and we want everyone to be a part of it.
I hope that women and girls come into the Play On program and just find the joy that is wheelchair basketball, whether they go on to compete for Australia, which I believe that there'll be girls on court in Brisbane in 2032 that have found wheelchair basketball through this Play On program. I hope that the girl who never wants to go further than this program just finds a space here and everything in between. I just hope people fall in love with wheelchair basketball like we all have.
I was really lucky to cross paths with wheelchair basketball when I was 15 years old. I fell in love with the sport.
I was doing horse riding and I wanted to play a team sport, and my mum came across wheelchair basketball and I just grew to love it. My muscles have grown stronger, so I'm able to do a lot more things now because of basketball. Yeah, it just helped me a lot in life. I would love to play at the Brisbane 2032 Paralympics and represent the country.
I wasn't 21 until I made my first Australian team, so you've got plenty of time. The most important thing is that you just enjoy your basketball.
By rolling out the start line, we want to build a framework where anyone that wants to become involved in parasport can find and navigate their way through to the opportunity that's local, that suits their needs.
Parasport's the best. You meet people that are just like you.
Times can be really tough. You're going to have some really frustrating days. It's okay to ask for help, but I promise you things do get better, and Paralympic sport can play a huge role in that.
Have a go. When we move out of our comfort zone, we surprise ourselves.
Not in my wildest dreams did I imagine that direction my life has taken, and I'm extremely thankful for it.
Just try it. You'll just grow to love it, and you could probably play for your country.
From the ancient dust of the Red Centre to the saltwater coasts where we meet today, Wheelchair Basketball Australia acknowledges the traditional custodians of the lands across this nation where we gather, train and play. We stand on the shoulders of giants, honouring the spirit of the first Indigenous Australian to wear the green and gold at an Olympic or Paralympic Games. Their journey is etched into the very fabric of our league. Across every court and every community, we celebrate the enduring spirit of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. Together, we share in a legacy of strength, culture, and the game we love.
Welcome to the Bendat Basketball Centre in the Perth suburb of Floreat, not far from the city on the far west coast of Australia, for the final game in the fourth round of the Women's National Wheelchair Basketball League. It's the home Perth Wheelcats, who sit in third place on the standings with a 6-5 record, taking on the Victoria Wonders, who at 7-4 sit in second place. And these two teams have already played two amazingly close games this weekend, and we're expecting the same today. My name is Brendan Parnell. I'm joined by Campbell Fraser, a man much more familiar with the intricacies of the wheelchair game. And Campbell, we've seen two really tight contests, as I mentioned already, and these teams look extraordinarily well matched.
Yeah, this has been a really interesting matchup between these two teams. I think we didn't necessarily expect that both of these games, they've gone 1-1 each way so far. The Victoria Wonders coming away with the first game, the Perth Wheelcats coming away last night with a relatively low scoring and really defensive dominant game last night that the Wheelcats were able to take. And it's been a really interesting matchup between these two teams. They're so evenly matched in the way that they play very different styles, but both of those styles are very hard to kind of get set and get pushed. The Perth Wheelcats play what we would consider more old school and traditional in the wheelchair basketball game, which is focusing on that high-point player. Obviously, Amber Merritt being the absolute star for the Perth Wheelcats. She's an incredible player. Tends to be their leading scorer, and when she's not, that's kind of warning signs for the Perth Wheelcats when she's struggling a little bit. Whereas the Victoria Wonders really look to play more of that midpoint lineup, play quite fast and a lot of ball movement, and they rotate through their substitutions also quite aggressively to really change things up and force the Wheelcats into answering. And I think that will be the way that they look to play this game, is really not let the Wheelcats get set in anything that they really want to run. The Wheelcats have a fair bit of experience behind them throughout a lot of players, whereas the Victoria Wonders have a lot of experience, but mainly focused in a couple key players. And I think that could spell a little bit of the difference if the Victoria Wonders have a little bit more weakness in certain players that they might just let slip if the Perth Wheelcats can really find those gaps.
Yeah, you mentioned the two earlier games. Friday night it was Victoria, 53-51. And last night the Wheelcats gained a little bit of revenge, 37-34, a very low-scoring game. That's the Perth Wheelcats in their red uniforms, the Victoria Wonders in their travelling navy blue, as our three officials make their way over to the score table. Josh McWaters, Kathy Hay, and Aidan Armstrong. We've seen the return of Amber Merritt this round as well. She's only played 5 games thus far, averaging 23 points and 12 rebounds in those 5 games, which is a measure of her dominant status in the game.
Yeah, she is just absolutely incredible in the way that she plays. She's one of those players that she gets the job done. She's so consistent, but she's also very fun to watch. She's always enjoying the game. Hopefully we get to see she's pretty much always got that smile on her face. She enjoys the game so much, and I think that's been. She's had a little bit of time off, time away from the sport, and she's made a comeback and really enjoying this space. And I think that's really important for the Wheelcats to have someone like that has international experience, that is just so positive, so wanting to build the sport, especially in WA, where it is further away from every other state. So they really have to have that kind of core culture really ingrained.
Yeah, the Wheelcats starting in the Women's National Wheelchair Basketball League in 2006. They, of course, have the one championship to their name in 2022. Tip about to get underway.
Let's make some noise.
Amber Merritt and Shelley Matheson, who know each other very well, sharing a bit of a joke there, and Shelley concedes the jump ball almost for the tip. And we're underway, first possession for the Wheelcats. Terry Houston, straight down to Merritt on the block. Can't get that to go. Laura Davoli, the leading scorer, for the Victoria Wonders, averaging a touch over 16 points a game. They with 9 rebounds. Spent part of the year over in the United States, college. University of Texas Arlington. First shot for the Wonders is off. Merritt already evident her long reach. Stevenson drives down to the baseline. Can't get that shot to go. But it caught a wheel of one of the Victoria Wonders chairs and will stay with WHEELCATS.
Yeah, and that's one of the difficulties that we have with the Victoria Wonders. Leanne Del Toso, she's a fantastic kind of. She plays the role of a high pointer. She sits quite tall in her chair, but due to her disability, her hands aren't quite as strong as some other players, and she does have a tendency for those passes to go a little bit awry, and pulling on those boards is a little bit of a struggle. And I think that's what the WHEELCATS are looking to abuse here, both with Amber Merritt and Sarah Houston, playing that really tall, really controlling inside the paint power.
Stavoldi misses one inside. She would potentially normally make. Ball in dispute. Cross-court violation. And Del Toso scrambling after that, unable to keep both her wheels in the front court.
It's one of the most frustrating turnovers where you're chasing down the ball, you have to hope that you can get there, and there's nothing you can do. You can't let it go, you have to accept the turnover.
Merritt drives baseline. We did see a travelling call, which you don't see very often on the previous WHEELCATS possession. Tosso, the rebound. Sails out of bounds. Del Toso leading the league in field goal percentage, just a tick below 50% of all her field goal attempts have been successful this year. No mean feat at any level of the sport, let alone a National League level. Handoff for the WHEELCATS to Houston. She flips it back to Stevenson. There's Glass. That's the friendly roll. Extremely friendly roll, some would say. And the scoring's underway. Matheson. Stuck. Goes Glass. Can't get it to go. Friday the rebound. Fantastic stuff from the low pointer. Merritt probing. Matheson manages to get around, draw some contact, tumbles out of her chair, but we'll go to the free throw line for 2. And that, Campbell, anytime you can get around last year's Defensive Player of the Year, Shelley Matheson, exemplifies the challenge for the Wonders defensively today.
Yeah, I think that Shelley Matheson, she's a fantastic player. Her defensive, not even necessarily her power on defense, but she's so elite at reading the play that's coming in front of her, and really smart at kind of getting in control and really slowing down the pace of the game. I think Amber Merritt is just one of those players that when she finds a line that she wants to take, she will try to take it, and she will find a way to get through. I don't often see her getting charges, surprisingly. The way that she plays so hard and fast, but she has so much core control that she can move on a dime and really gets that spin and gets in control of her chair.
You see Merritt head to the bench just prior to that ball being inbounded. Early substitution. Maybe just something awry temporarily. Eric Gillis in for her. Ball ahead to Houston. Probes, can't get round Isabel Martin. Matheson comes to help. Vinci on the move, can't control that shot.
Yeah, just watching Amber Merritt there on the bench, I think that was potentially just a little bit of that fall was a little bit rough, and she might not have landed too comfortably. I think she's just taking a breather as much just to kind of keep herself in emotional comfort as anything.
Matheson heels across using the Divoli screen, gets baseline. Ball back onto the left hand off the offensive rebound, gets that to go. The Wonders open their account. Stevenson pinned down on the baseline. Got some problems. She's turned it over. The 8-second count expired before the ball even got past the free throw line.
That was there's almost nothing that you can do with that kind of pin pressure in the backcourt. You know, we were talking earlier about the way that you play a press breaker is actually really important, and who you look to make that pass. And I think Ebony Stevenson is not necessarily the one that you want to be putting in that position. Doesn't quite have the height to make that long hook pass. We've seen it in this weekend across a couple of other games. The Adelaide Thunder being the one that really liked that long hook pass, and what we've nicknamed the catapult. That I think the Perth WheelCats might be needing to employ just to get the ball moving and kind of get some change up in the way that the Victoria Wonders are playing that press. It's so suffocating.
Matheson gets the breakaway layup. Yeah, Lucinda Buetti producing a shot on Friday that almost defied belief with her version of the sky hook. Yeah, certainly worth looking for on the highlights, which will be available on the Wheelchair Basketball Australia social media. She's a joyful character to watch, and she specialises in the catapult pass and the sky hook.
Yeah, and I think that pass is actually really, it is a little bit of product of a little bit of hope, and you kind of throw it into open space, but I think it is a valuable one to have in the back pocket. That I think the Perth WheelCats potentially need to make that inbounder for the press breaker, one of their taller players, just to get it launched, try and get the Victoria Wonders moving. I think that inbound, where they did get the 8-second violation, the inbound was too low, almost at the basket level. You just can't move from there. You don't have the space to move, you don't have the option, and you're not forcing the Victoria Wonders defense to do anything necessarily to stop you from moving the ball.
We've just seen the end of the game's first timeout. The WheelCats calling that an opportunity for head coach Robert Pike to get Amber Merritt back into the contest. The WheelCats try to navigate the press again. Go back to Stevenson. She's really not going anywhere at the moment. They're in exactly the same spot. And there's the official on hand. There's a speedy 8 count, although the shot clock had run a little past 8. I guess it was quite reasonable.
Again, that inbound being so low, close to the baseline, I think that's almost an impossible position that you're putting Ebony Stevenson in. She's looking up, and there's just nothing happening in front of her. She has no option to move. It's going to be really difficult for the WheelCats to get out of that pressure.
Certainly like a peak hour traffic jam. They're all 10 players below the free throw line as that ball was inbounded after the Del Tosso make. It's just scenes of total chaos here in the backcourt for the WheelCats. Merritt didn't come back onto the floor. I'm sure she will have to in a minute. It's got an offensive foul by the Wonders. Leave the pressure temporarily, but the WheelCats have still got to go the length of the floor.
Yeah, Shelley Matheson getting a charge there. I think she saw the line, really wanted to take that shot, thought better of it, and wanted to make that pass just a little too late. And I think she saw that coming about 5 seconds before she made that charge.
WheelCats under the basket. Ball comes back to Stevenson. She misses for the second time. Matheson, the rebound. It's almost more good luck than good management that the WheelCats got out of the backcourt at previous occasions. Matheson looks, pokes a pass across to DeVoli. She's cut off by Houston. Friday looks to come and help. Gillis. Keisha Ovens can't get that to go. Matheson, head fake, drive, met by Vinci. Finds the roller. That won't go. Houston flips it ahead to Friday. She does a good job to reel that in. Stevenson spins around. Yes, baseline shot won't go. Another one from Vinci won't go. The ball will revert back to the Marvels.
Substitute for the Perth WheelCats. Sarah Houston coming out, checking back in. It is Amber Merritt.
We'll see Amber Merritt back. Certainly not breaking any scoring records. We saw an extremely low scoring game last night, 37-34, and this one at the moment looking as if it's headed the same way.
And you can see exactly why. I mean, the amount of pressure that both teams are really trying to put on the ball and really kind of keep that pressure in the backcourt as much as they can. The WheelCats not doing as much of it and really picking up kind of at that half court, really slowing down that play and really controlling the defense, I think is really, really important to both of these teams and how they play.
Killer's shot's blocked. Marvel's back with it. Clock ticks under 3 minutes remaining. First quarter. It's the Wonders, I beg your pardon, not the Marvels, the men's team, of course. Let's get a shot up. That's off the side of the backboard. Ball back to Merritt. She's almost the one-woman press breaker at the moment. Pass inside. Gillis can't get it to go. Another fantastic rebound from Friday. She kicks it straight back out. Shot goes in and out from Stevenson. Tosser spies a lane. No, she doesn't. She wheels back away. Skip pass across to Matheson. Catches the bottom of her chair. Ball in dispute. It'll be a jump ball. Possession arrow indicates the ball will stay with the Wonders.
I really like that transition with the WheelCats trying to come back into defense. I think there's a little clip there that I think that is worth showing to a lot of new players when we talk about like on-court talk and really having a voice. You could hear Ebony Stevenson screaming, "I'm out of defense," and we don't always get to pick up on stream everything that's being said on court, but she was clear as day. That's the communication that they need.
Merritt, a lovely pass to Vinci, who finishes the transition layup. Already apparent the injection of Merritt back into the game simplifies that coming out of the backcourt a little bit for the WheelCats.
Definitely simplifies the way that they're kind of running that press break, but they're still not focusing on Amber Merritt necessarily as a scorer, and they're more playing her as that kind of point guard and looking for passing lanes. Where I think if they really want to push a lot of pressure, they've got to get her inside the paint and really use her strength inside.
Merritt somehow got back defensively. Layup sat on the rim for a second, wouldn't go. They're stuck at 6-all. Just a touch over a minute remaining, first quarter. The lack of scoring hasn't affected the entertainment value. Getting hotly contested both ends. Ritosso gets hold of it, almost tumbles forward out of her chair and off balance makes a layup.
Yeah, she has a fascinating way of shooting. I think that's actually she was a little bit off balance there, but that's also just the way that she shoots. She has a lot of forward momentum to kind of compensate for a little bit of muscle loss. And really kind of get that power forward. You see that in the way that it comes off the backboard as well. It's either going straight in or it's really going far.
Shot clock expires in the background, so Wheelcats unaware here. Of course, when you're talking flat shots that almost have eyes and go into the basket, Bidham Yildirim saw last night have 20. She had 31 today. Another win for the Sydney Uni Lions, and 15 of 23 from the field. She's on an incredible hot streak of shooting. All right, back to the action here in Perth. Bendat Basketball Centre. Final game of round 4, the Women's National Wheelchair Basketball League. Shot clock running down. On the Wonders, they can't get it away either. Just the 5 seconds remaining for the Wheelcats, whether they can get a shot off before the end of the first quarter. Problematic. I think they'll be probably happy to get the ball inbound. Merritt ahead to Friday. And Laura Gillis happy enough to let time expire. So there we are, quarter time, an engrossing contest. It's the Perth Wheelcats 6, trailing the Victoria Wonders 8. And we'll be back in just a moment.
I'm Georgia, and welcome to William Buck, a firm that is reimagining the way advisors work. Come with me and take a peek behind closed doors. Exceptional advice comes from passionate people who feel empowered to shape outcomes. Our teams include audit and assurance, business advisory, corporate finance, restructuring and insolvency, superannuation, tax, and wealth advisory. These teams work together to create a tangible impact for our clients.
Welcome back to the city of Perth on the far west coast of Australia. It's the Bendat Basketball Centre for the second quarter of this clash between the built-up Perth Wheelcats and the Victoria Wonders, a team that started in the league just last year, thanks to the efforts of Basketball Victoria, who look after this women's team, the Wonders, and the men's team, the Marvels, who started in the men's league just this season. The Wheelcats in their red uniform, running a little bit of a stacked formation to start. Amber Merritt, their star with the ball, looks at the long two, can't get it to go. Wheelcats shooting just 14% from the field after the first quarter.
Yeah, that's been pretty telling of the way that the Wheelcats have run their offense. I think they haven't quite found the scoring through who they necessarily expect. They've had a separation between three players have scored one each. It's just been a little bit difficult for them to get into a position where they've got their normal kind of high point players inside the paint. And I think that's a real big credit to the Victoria Wonders. The way that they've played their defense is so controlling that size inside the paint and really forcing those outside shots. And they've laid back the pressure a little bit now. But that press that the Wonders were running was quite strong against the Wheelcats.
Del Tosso picks off a pass that was intended for Merritt. Matheson drives, wheels around, comes back to the middle. Stoffer. Del Tosso to Stoffer. She looks at that shot, can't get it to go. Houston the rebound. Merritt almost a chance to break. Stevenson weaving. Waits for her teammates to catch up. Merritt dives down inside. Stevenson looks, finds Merritt. She draws some contact.
This is what we wanted to see. Emma Merritt getting inside the paint, being strong, being big. I think the Victoria Wonders don't have a lot of size to really control her once she's in that position. Obviously, they're going to draw a couple fouls from that. And I think that's how the Wheelcats have to play this. They have to play towards their strong suits.
Just the first foul for Leanne Del Tosso. Obviously a critical piece of the Wonders rotation, so to be her staying out of foul trouble is of paramount importance. Balls into Matheson. Merritt with a little bit of backcourt pressure along with Houston. Matheson gets through, finds Davoli. It's cut off by Stevenson. Wheels across the floor. The Wheelcats scrambled to cover that movement. Gets down to the baseline, skips it back to Matheson, free throw line, snap pass straight inside. Shot won't go. Houston the rebound. Merritt, all 10 players in the backcourt again. Stevenson tries to push ahead. Eight seconds again. Seems to happen so quickly, Campbell, that I guess the Wheelcats, there's nothing instantaneous happening once they get a defensive rebound.
Yeah, I think they're not necessarily pushing it as quick as they need to. They need to get someone across the half court. I think, as you say, when you keep saying 10 people in the backcourt, that's an issue. That is really what the Wonders are relying on. But there isn't that fast break, isn't that one player to kind of get through the pressure. And every time there is, as we see right now, that's what the Wonders do. They pull back immediately. They don't look to let that pass go long. They really just pull back that press.
Coach with the Wonders, Lauren Robinson, clearly gone to work a little bit on the previous two games in this series. Houston, an offensive rebound and a much needed put back for two. The Wheelcats 9, trailing the Wonders 12. Matheson pushes. Finds Davoli, she rolls backwards. Makes that.
Laura Davoli finally getting her scoring underway. She's usually a pretty high scorer for the Victoria Wonders. She had a little bit quiet of the game last night, and I think that was a little bit of a concern for the Wonders and potentially why they weren't able to get up quite as strong. I think when Laura Davoli looks a little bit cold, when she looks a little bit quieter, the Victoria Wonders just pull back a little bit and kind of conserve around her. She really does set a lot of the pace that they look to play.
Merritt makes another two inside. Over Davoli. Matheson now with the ball for the Wonders. Cut off. Pitches a pass across. Davoli dives down to the baseline. Another one go. Can't find the range. Merritt the rebound. Wonders, as you mentioned, stinking back defensively. Merritt finds Houston. She can't get the layup to go. Perfectly run transition. Now they find themselves having to stop Davoli streaming the other way. She looks inside, exchange of passing. Del Tosso back to Matheson, retreats back to Davoli. Can't get that to go. Vinci the rebound. Merritt. Matheson streaming after her. Got a hand on the ball, but could only deflect it out of bounds.
Laura Davoli's had a couple of those shots where she's drawn a little bit of contact and has been rolling backwards, and hasn't quite got herself set as comfortable as she'd probably like to. I think that's just potentially just a little bit less experience than someone like Shelley Matheson, and those passes are getting to her in a really comfortable position, but she's just not quite getting herself in the best position to shoot.
Merritt heads to the bench. This is the time that the Wheelcats have had trouble just finding avenues to offense. Shot from Houston's off. Davoli pushing again. And a consistently well-organised game plan thus far. And the Wonders. Matheson, no-look pass back to Davoli. She retreats. Creates a little bit of space. And makes the two. hint of some warning signs now. Merritt not on the floor. WheelCats, first problem's getting out of the backcourt. Second problem creating some offense as they looks like they might have almost turned it over again. They have an 8-second count. The pass went astray. It would have gone back to the WheelCats, but the officials conferred with each other and the 8 seconds had expired.
Yeah, I think the argument being the Wonders never actually had control of the ball. It came off the Wonders' chair, but that doesn't necessarily mean possession. That's not in control. And if it was going to move to the WheelCats, the clock was already too far down.
It's turnover number 9 for the WheelCats already. Proving quite damaging. Another shot's up. Stevenson the rebound. He's jammed in the backcourt. Manages to find a lane. Seen another whistle. Player out of her chair in the backcourt. Isabel Martin providing the assistance. Shelley Matheson dusts herself off. That was another backward turnover for the WheelCats. Take their tally to 10. The volley inside finishes. Leaning sharply to the left, but got it to go.
You'll have to think this will be the thing that each team looks at the scouting report and notices. The WheelCats can't really deal with that backcourt pressure. They don't have a way to deal with that control, and especially when Amber Merritt comes off. And she's had a few more breaks in this game than we're used to seeing necessarily from her. That the WheelCats just don't have an answer when she's not on.
Vinci makes a layup. A lovely pass from Mary Friday, who managed to manoeuvre herself in the chair. Always difficult from the low point position when you're being hotly defended to create a passing lane. She did so expertly. The volley. Get the passing side. Another make. Sarah Kaladi that time. She of the Paralympic wheelchair tennis background, 2016. Was part of the Australian team in Rio. So many, particularly female players in this league, have managed to excel in multiple Paralympic sports. Shot clock running down. Tasha Ovens launches the long two, can't get it to go. Volley the rebound, that's a little strong. Tasha Ovens, of course, will head off to Glasgow. 24th of July, part of the Australian Wombats team in the 3x3 basketball tournament at the Commonwealth Games. Stevenson wheels around. Houston. Shot clock pressure. He launches a three, which didn't have the range or the power. Falls harmlessly away.
I always love seeing for the Victoria Wonders, Tasha Ovens. She's relatively small in her chair, and she's relatively intimidating with all the tattoos. But she is one of the longest range shooters in the league, and she really doesn't necessarily present as that kind of scary shooter from the three, especially. But she is probably the one that the Victoria Wonders will look for on those outside shots, and I think that the WheelCats don't necessarily have a way to pressure that and can't really answer her if she starts getting those shots to go.
We're about 5 degrees away from seeing another Ebony Stevenson backflip there. The shot that you so like, Campbell, on the social media of Ebony Stevenson, who makes that 2-point shot almost, well, she is parallel to the ground.
Yeah, there's a really fantastic photo that was taken, I think, last year in their season, of her going for a rebound that was behind her, and fully making contact with her hand behind her on the court, somehow getting that much bend to her back, and that's credit to part of her disability. She has a lot of mobility, and you see that in the way that she pushes, but also the amount of contact that she takes. She shows contact quite aggressively.
Another turnover. WHEELCATS. It's been the story of the first half for them. Matheson spins around, throws a no-look pass back to Kaladi. She finishes. Matheson orchestrating things from the point guard role in transition. Margin out to 7. Another turnover. Davoli with the ball. Cut off. That's Tasha Evans. She draws a little bit of contact, or a lot of contact, I should say. No foul trouble for either team. It's been a remarkably clean game in terms of that. Just the 3 team fouls in this quarter. Ball back to Matheson. About a 6-second differential would have been between the game shot clock and the game clock. The WHEELCATS can run this thing right down now and take the last shot of the quarter. Okay. A little over 20 seconds remaining. Ball's into Stevenson. She wheels down to the baseline. Friday sets a screen for her. Stevenson, sort of half pass, half shots, well short. Kaladi in the backcourt. And the tables are turned. A turnover for the Wonders in the backcourt.
Yeah, I think Sarah Kaladi, she's a fantastic shooter inside. She's just a little less experienced in the wheelchair basketball game, as you say. She comes from wheelchair tennis. You can see that in the way that she moves her chair, the way that she plays. But I think she just doesn't quite have that composure when she gets pressured in the backcourt. It's a difficult thing to move it forward.
And with that shot going astray, that'll take us to halftime. It's Victoria Wonders 22 leading a gripping contest with the Perth WheelCats 15, and we'll be back in just a moment.
I'm Nicholas Marachi. I'm a Senior Manager in the Tax Services team here at William Buck in Victoria. William Buck has a really good environment of innovating and really changing things up where we need to adapt. And as tax law changes, our way of administering it and our way of preparing advice also changes, and we're adapting to that. The firm has a really good culture of acknowledging good behaviours and good efforts and outstanding outcomes from staff members. The Victorian office offers an Excellence Award to an outstanding staff member. That was a really humbling experience for me. Usually I'm not short for words, but I was short for words at that point in time.
Hello, I'm Miriam Latu. I'm playing for the Sydney Blues this season. Please get behind us and get around the 2026 season. Yay!
Wheelchair basketball emerged shortly after World War II after it was developed by injured servicemen. It became a foundation Paralympic sport at the 1960 Games and is now one of the world's most recognisable wheelchair sports. Athletes who play wheelchair basketball have a physical impairment. All players use a wheelchair to compete, although some don't use a wheelchair in everyday life. The court dimensions and basket height for wheelchair basketball are the same as the able-bodied version of the sport, as is the playing time and number of players on court. Wheelchair basketball classifications range between 1 and 4.5 points. Players with a classification of 1.0 have the highest level of impairment, while players in the 4.5 point class have the highest level of physical function to be eligible for the sport. The wheelchairs used during a game are specially designed to support players and help them move around the court. During a match, the classifications of the 5 players on the court are added together and must reach a total of no more than 14 points. The object of the game is to score the most points in the opposing team's basket. The team with the most points by the time the clock expires wins. Wheelchair basketball is a contact sport. The sport is so fast that it can be difficult for athletes to stop in time, meaning contact is inevitable and can result in some spectacular collisions. While contact is permitted and even encouraged, head-on collisions are strictly forbidden and can result in fouls or even ejection from the game. For more information on wheelchair basketball, visit paralympic.org.au.
I'm Shelley Matheson and we're at the Victorian Institute of Sport training session, which happens after Play On. Play On is a women's and girls wheelchair basketball program for development. Myself and former teammate, Paralympian Leanne Del Toso, we realised that there was no place for women to get involved in wheelchair basketball. And wheelchair basketball has been such a passion and a lifelong thing of both of us that we just wanted to open up our community to more women, so we created the Play On program.
The program is it's a special one. We cater for women who just want to connect socially, be involved in basketball, learn new skills, make new friends, but also we cater for those ambitious girls and women who want to actually excel and get to the Paralympic level. So this is that grassroots level where they can come in, learn, have fun, play, and whatever their pathway is, they can start their journey here.
I love sport, I love being an athlete, but for me it's always provided community and connection. And when you're a little disabled girl growing up in the country, you don't always have that. So when I first found wheelchair basketball, I found people like me, I found a community, and yeah, I fell in love with the sport and the people, and some of my best friends in the entire world I found on a basketball court.
I come here every week and I see the smiles on their face, their friends, they want to work hard. They want to show you what they're capable of. It's not just about them, it's actually about their family that sit on the sidelines and siblings that can jump in and be a part of it. I love that. It's just everyone has a place in the sport and we want everyone to be a part of it.
I hope that women and girls come into the Play On program and just find the joy that is wheelchair basketball, whether they go on to compete for Australia, which I believe that there'll be girls on court in Brisbane in 2032 that have found wheelchair basketball through this Play On program. I hope that the girl who never wants to go further than this program just finds a space here and everything in between. I just hope people fall in love with wheelchair basketball like we all have.
Welcome back to the Bendat Basketball Centre for the last half of the last game of round 4 of the Women's National Wheelchair Basketball League. So we'll look at some of the highlights from that first half. Scoring was tough to come by. Both teams shooting in the 20% ratio or around that range. Amber Merritt playing just 10 minutes for the Wheelcats, and most of the Victoria Wonder scoring came off their backcourt pressure and conversion of transition.
Yeah, I think that backcourt pressure has been so strong for the Victoria Wonders. I think that's been a massive kind of revelation for them. That they have the ability to set that pressure so quickly, and the Wheelcats we spoke about earlier, they aren't quite transitioning quick enough in when a shot goes up. And they're getting that kind of backcourt congestion where they're almost all under the foul line and not able to kind of break through, where they don't have necessarily that person playing safety, that person playing to kind of move up the floor. And I think the Victoria Wonders have really noticed that fact and are looking to use it really aggressively.
Yeah, the bottom line statistic there, turnovers 14 for the Perth Wheelcats, makes it very difficult to win any game of basketball. Victoria Wonders have had their own 7, which is certainly in the manageable category, but I didn't keep a track of how many 8-second violations we had in the backcourt, Campbell, but I'd have to think it's 6 or 7.
Yeah, I think there were quite a few of those, and quite a few, there was a string of them that happened kind of back to back where the Wheelcats just couldn't quite find anything, and that was when Amber Merritt wasn't on the floor. We've seen that a couple times where she has taken some breaks, whether that's just due to fatigue, whether that's due to the contact that she took earlier in the game. She took a hard fall onto the floor. But I think she might have just been a little bit uncomfortable with getting up from that one, and that's been really hard for the Wheelcats to kind of cover her role. They have players that fill a similar high point role, but they don't quite answer in the same way that she does.
I think the Wheelcats might have forgotten your scouting report, Campbell, that Tasha Ovens can bomb the 3. That one took a look in and bounced out. Start the second half. It's the Wonders in the navy blue uniforms. The home Perth Wheelcats in the red with the white numbers. Amber Merritt with the ball now. Dumps it inside to Sarah Vinci. Not doing her any favours. The shot clock getting low and 3 defenders around her. The Wheelcats start the second half as they ended the first with a turnover shot clock violation.
Yeah, I think that was just a little lapse in judgment there. I think Sarah Vinci almost had the roll there, but the cover came from the center so quickly, and that pass was just a little bit too hard to reel in.
Gavoli rolling from the free throw line. Matheson, the nice assist. Margin out to 9, which is massive in terms of the raw scoring in this game. Stevenson with the ball for the Wheelcats. Merritt down to the baseline, dumps inside. Vinci gets herself better balance this time. Can't get the shot to go. Del Tosso, the rebound.
And that's at least a much better kind of offensive style from the Wheelcats. I like it. On the other side, Sarah Houston was pushing in, putting a lot of pressure on the kind of baseline cut, that kind of forced the defense to respond a little bit, giving Sarah Vinci that a little bit more space under the basket. Was not able to convert there, but at least getting that better position.
Del Tosso runs beautiful screen and roll action with Tasha Ovens, who finishes with a favoured left hand. Just getting away from the Wheelcats even this early stage. Merritt just below the free throw line, gets that to go. Temporary relief. Wheelcats not interested in pressuring up the floor at all. They're almost in a zone formation back. There's a match-up now. The first pass is made. Players pair off to guard various players. Matheson draws some contact inside. She will head to the free throw line.
Coming into the game for Perth, number 10, Madison Kent, and number 11, Natalie Alexander.
Matheson a little long with the first. Second is off, offensive rebound. That's a stray again. But Ebony Stevenson got a hand on that ball as it was sailing out of bounds. Ball stays with the Wonders. Matheson allowed to just wander down to the free throw line. Madison Kent comes to pick her up. Del Tosso has a look down the left baseline, back to Matheson. He looks for Devoli. All the while the shot clock was racing down, and now the Wonders turn it over that way.
Yeah, I think Shelley Matheson might have needed to use that kind of a little bit of space that she had in front of her, competing for the free throw line. I think she might have needed to take that shot. She was putting Laura Devoli, even if she had managed to reel in that pass, she was in a really kind of difficult position with that shot clock.
Walton Merritt on the free throw line. She waits for the hands to disappear. Finds Stevenson. Her shot's in and out. Devoli high in her chair. Moving down. Finds Del Tosso, who finishes off the glass. Transition again. Houston looks ahead for Stevenson's, picked off by Del Tosso. Back to Matheson, back down to Devoli on the block. Alexander comes to defend her. Devoli retreats, changes hands, gets to the middle of the paint expertly, goes glass and finishes.
This is what we've needed. Laura Devoli needs to kind of be that pressure and that pace for the Victoria Wonders, and she's finally kind of activating, and her team really kind of bringing around her as well. Shelley Matheson really kind of picks up that pace when I think Laura Devoli kind of puts a little bit of a challenge to her, and they both need it.
Houston to Merritt. Shot clock running down the background. Eva Merritt goes sky hook. As the shot clock was about to expire, that's caught a hand on the way through and sailed harmlessly out of bounds. It's a real struggle for the WheelCats again.
Yeah, they're just not able to get into their kind of offensive line, not able to get into a comfortable position. I think that their speed is just being a little bit outpaced by the Victoria Wonders. The Victoria Wonders doing so well to pick up players so early and really respond to threats so quickly.
There's a few scratching of heads and scratching of chins over on the Perth WheelCats coaching staff. Robert Pike is wearing a cap, but still scratching his head.
7, Laura Gillis, and 30, Mary Friday.
And the Wonders coaches, Lauren Robinson, Jules Orr. It's apparent they've devised a strategy which is a touch different from what we've seen in the first two games. It's remarkably effective. The WheelCats yet to find a solution. Devoli goes middle. It's the ball inside, that will be a 3-second violation. Shot really had to go up there. Ball ahead, Gillis jumps down to Friday. She spins around. Inside to Houston, rolls back. One hand is good. WheelCats hanging on just. They trail by 11 midway through the third quarter, the last game of round 4 of the Women's National Wheelchair Basketball League, brought to you by fantastic friends at Bright Sky Australia. William Buck. Matheson, head fake, drives middle. Davoli, shot short. Catches a couple of chairs and caroms out of bounds.
Yeah, and that's an unfortunate thing for Laura Davoli. The way that she shoots, she has such a nice kind of soft release when she's looking for a layup or things like that. But her outside shot just comes in a little bit flat. Actually, sometimes doesn't quite have the distance. I think she always relies on having that soft touch, and she doesn't have shots that really go wayward when they come off a rebound. But sometimes they just end up coming up short with that.
Davoli missed inside, but the ball again, another offensive rebound back to the Wonders, or an offensive possession. Back to Davoli inside. She's right in the middle of the paint. Can't get that to go. It sat on the rim for a second. Stevenson now pushing the other way. Still plenty of chairs in the backcourt, as we've seen all day. And we can put that one down for another 8-second violation. The Wonders totally committed to the strategy of putting defenders in the backcourt.
I'm really curious if the Wonders are going to do the same thing that they've done a couple times here, which it looks like they will with Laura Davoli, and whichever low pointer she's playing with. She was using Isabel Martin before. They actually start almost at the half court and look to push pace as the ball is being inbounded and push really fast. And it forces someone to come to that baseline. That's usually the low point cutting the baseline, and Laura Gillies has had to answer that a couple times. And that gives the high point of that opportunity to cut either in that top lane or kind of cut in the side and really not have that pressure from a tall player. So they've done it a few times exactly the same way. It's almost a drawn up play that they have.
Matheson with that foul. No particular trouble for her, just her second. Perimeter shots up from the Wheelcats, off again. Davoli positions herself in the paint. Davoli tries to shoot anyway. Makes it off the glass. Here's the challenge again. Pressure in the backcourt. Catapult pass forward. Finds its way to Friday. Behind Stevenson. Matheson, a little too quick in her chair, cuts her off. But a lovely pass inside to Gillies. She finishes.
There was just no communication there. That cover from the middle didn't really come. The free throw line left pretty much open wide, and Gillies able to make that cut inside. I think that's what the Wheelcats, credit to them, have done very well. Is notice the little weaknesses that the Victoria Wonders are showing, like that little lack of communication. They have drawn up plays, the Victoria Wonders, and they run them quite effectively. I think they're relying on that a little too much and expecting to be able to play the way that they want to without communicating it.
Matheson gets one to go right on the shot clock buzzer. You could hear it going off in the background as that shot was in the air. A lovely pass from Georgia Gott. The assist. Alexander, Houston, rolling backwards, makes another. Scoring finally starting to heat up. It'll need to for the Wheelcats. They trail by 11. Davoli. Cut off by Vinci. Reverses her chair. Isabel Martin comes on the curl. Catch and shoot. Matheson offensive rebound. Can't get it to go. Stevenson. Houston. Vinci. Wheels around. Gets a screen from Stevenson. Flips a pass inside. Mary Friday does exceptionally well again. They'll reel that in. Active hands from Laura Davoli. In fact, she's turned it over.
She's from Perth, number 6, Amy Beale,
The
and number
Wheelcats
11,
have turned
Natalie
it over.
Alexander
Davoli
coming
managing
into
to deflect that off a Wheelcat's hand.
Yeah, there's been so much pressure from the Wonders. They're really, I think they're really exposing the weakness for the Wheelcats is just those passing lanes and a little bit of that they often get stuck in kind of wanting to dribble out of trouble rather than looking for a pass, essentially not trusting their passes as much as they need to. And I think the Wonders really pressuring that and that pressure just being so scary for the Wheelcats to deal with.
Coming down. A hook pass ahead. Stevenson does a great job to get there. Oh, rolls off the rim. Inside the last minute, third quarter. Visiting Victoria Wonders looking to take this series 2-1. Cavalli inside. She's really been the difference offensively now up to 14 points. Struggled to score it all in the first quarter, but has come to life subsequently. Stevenson kicks ahead. Beal, chance for the layup, converts.
Yeah, I think Laura Devoli might have heard me saying that that when she's playing a little bit weaker, the Victoria Wonders look like they struggle a little bit. I think as soon as I said that, she started getting her scoring underway.
It does seem that way sometimes. Matheson in the middle of the paint. That's one go. A little long. Pokes the rebound back away. Bowler gets one up. Can't get it to go. Alpha flips the rebound back out to Del Toso on the buzzer. Fantastic way for the Victoria Wonders to finish the third quarter. They've made two on the buzzer in that short last couple of minutes, and they lead 36-23. 38-25 now, would you believe? And we'll be back at the Bendat Basketball Centre in just a moment.
From grassroots to the pros, I'd love to see that.
Where style meets performance, I'd love to see that.
Supporting champions and inspiring the next generation, I'd love to see that.
Welcome back to Perth's Bendat Basketball Centre for the final quarter of this last game in round 4 of the Women's National Wheelchair Basketball League. A reminder, the league will take a break until the first week in August. They'll have the final round then, and the finals coming up at the end of August. Campbell, probably an opportune time to have a look. The Marbles look like they're going to be able to take this one. The Wonders look like they're going to be able to take this one today. Where do they stack up against the Sydney Blues, the all-conquering team on top of the ladder, unbeaten in last year's premiers?
I think it's such a hard matchup for anyone to come up against the Blues. The Blues, the strength that they have is that they don't really have a role where they have particularly a less experienced or a less powerful player. The thing that the Blues really look to push is that they have those two big high pointers, Teacher Shadwell and Georgia Monroe-Cook, that they really look to use for a lot of their scoring, but they also have so much ball handling. I mean, we've seen Kylie Gauchi be absolutely elite and really scary to deal with, both on an offensive end, but also as a defensive player. She's one of the strongest in the league. And I think the Wonders really have a challenge to match up with them. I think they have the ability to do it. They just need to slow things down and play a little bit more consistent. As we know, the Wonders like to run kind of set plays. They have drawn up plays that they really like to play, and Coach Lauren Robinson has been focusing on that with a deeper squad and a squad that has a varying level of experience. It can be quite useful to have those kind of drawn up plays where everyone knows their role. And the Sydney Blues on the opposite side play a lot more versatile, a lot more fluid, and that's a hard thing to respond to. But it also means that they could have a few lapses in judgment and a few decisions that don't quite go their way.
We'll look ahead with interest to the final round and ultimately the finals, whether anybody can take it up to the Sydney Blues. In the meantime, we've seen another turnover in the backcourt from the WHEELCATS, their previous possession. They've got this one across, but they trail by 13. Stevenson, we still haven't seen Merritt again. She's likely on ice. Did take a heavy tumble early on. Nellie Alexander inside, but the left hand finishes. Holly streaking the other way. Cut up by Ebony Stevenson. Looks full of energy. You can see one of her patented backflips to get up after she'd fallen out of the chair in the background just a couple of minutes ago. The pass falls out of Tara Houston's hands. Another two for the Wonders. Really looking almost a little too difficult now. The WHEELCATS, they do get the ball in the front court. Wheel drives, draws a little contact. Nothing from the officials on that occasion. The tosser. He's quietly accumulated 10 points, 5 rebounds, a few assists, but she and Matheson makes a lap. Been generally happy to organise things.
Substitution for Perth coming into the game, number 15, Amber Merritt, and number 30, Mary Friday.
Amber Merritt back onto the floor. Houston. Merritt inbounds, gets it back, flips a pass ahead that's going to bounce right over the head of Ebony Stevenson, but Mary Friday did a good job to get it. Well inside. Houston can't get it to go. Matheson. Always with the head up, probing what sort of gaps or issues she might be able to find. The volley goes baseline. Shot clock becoming an issue. Down to 3. Grenade thrown. And didn't like the grenade. The grenade thrown back again. Straight back to Laura DeVoli as the shot clock expired.
And as much as this has been a really kind of tough struggle for the WHEELCATS, that's really strong defense from the WHEELCATS. Absolutely shutting everything down. That's what they've needed to look like, and what we've been really expecting them to look like. I wouldn't have expected this game to not be quite as close as the other two really have been. The Victoria Wonders just doing a little bit stronger on their offensive end. I think the WHEELCATS are finally figuring out their defensive side and really making sure that they at least don't go down without a fight.
Harry Caldwell, nice pass ahead. To the bowler who finishes. First minutes for Harry Caldwell tonight. They contribute in other games. Merritt gets baseline. Smooth stroke. Volley. The WHEELCATS trying to amp up the pressure in the backcourt themselves. The volley's a little too quick for Friday. Stevenson comes. There's wheel to wheel with her. Volley gets around, cut off by Houston. Back to Matheson. She rolls into a elbow line jumper. No, she doesn't. She completely fooled me and everybody else in the building. pass to Del Tosso. The no-look shot becomes a pass, but Del Tosso couldn't finish. Merritt gets down to the free throw line. Another two nestles in.
It's almost becoming a little bit, almost too little too late, but Emma Merritt kind of picking up now and kind of finding her way forward. I think she just hasn't quite had the morning that she would be expecting, potentially just not feeling quite up to it, as she had a little bit of a break throughout the season, and potentially just third game of three tough, hard games takes a toll.
Harriet Caldwell gets on the score sheet. A lovely probing pass from Matheson. Stevenson finds her range. 6 points for her. We go with a few rebounds and 5 assists. Matheson. He's really steered the ship very well. Ball's poked away from Davoli. Merritt. Wonders retreating en masse. Merritt gets down. Flips it across to Stevenson, who's pretty wide open at the free throw line. She throws another pass. As she threw it, she could see that Tara Houston wasn't looking and tried to drag it back, but couldn't do so. The volley goes coast to coast.
It's just a little too much control from the defensive side of the Wonders. I think the Wheelcats are just getting a little bit ahead of themselves in the way that they're making those passes, making those decisions, and the Wonders really not switching off yet.
Merritt can't finish inside. Wonders coach Lauren Robinson is pacing up and down the sideline. I think she might have been thinking about a timeout, but looking a fraction more relaxed now. Ball inside, shots off. And Caldwell. Merritt the rebound. Pushes ahead. Stevenson. Houston goes finger roll. Can't get it to go. Caldwell the rebound. Del Tosso. Got Isabel Martin all on her own. Can't get it to go. Merritt sails in for the rebound. Less than 20 minutes, Amber Merritt already with a double-double. Pass inside. Del Tosso does a great job to distract that shot. Wonders coming the other way. Matheson has a glance up at the clock, sees there's about a little over 2 minutes remaining. She's happy to run a little bit of that with a wheel around action. Merritt pokes it away. 5 seconds on the shot clock for the Wonders, but they've come with a plan and by the looks of things been able to execute it as the Wheelcats decide their head coach Robert Pike wants to call a timeout. But yes, Campbell, it's been a quite an impressive performance from the Wonders. They had a strategy and they've executed it to perfection.
Yeah, I think the Wonders clearly took the 2 games that they've already played and really noticed the things that worked for them, noticed the things that didn't. And I think the thing that is really working for them is that defensive pressure. The press that they set early in the first half really kind of took the Wheelcats a lot to respond to, took them a long time to respond to, and the Wonders were able to convert so aggressively on those turnovers. I think the Wheelcats have more found their line now and been a bit more comfortable so far. This quarter they're 10-10 each, so they're going even at the moment. It was just that first half that was devastating for them, where they really couldn't find any way forward.
Yep, just as you can see on the screen, a tick over 2 minutes remaining. Wonders coach Lauren Robinson still up and pacing. Undoubtedly will have configured some sort of quick offense here for the 5 seconds. This might be it. Tasha Ovens with the 3. Short. WheelCats almost getting caught out again. Stevenson drives middle, cut off by Davoli. Shots off. And Coulter is on the floor for these last couple of minutes. A delay.
Checking in the game for Perth, number 12, Sarah Thorns.
Might have heard in the background, Sarah Thorns onto the floor. She's, I hear, a Murphy Reid fan, her favourite sports star. Star of the Fremantle Dockers, based in Perth. Cortoso. Davoli goes middle. Wide open, can't get it to go. Merritt. It's just below the elbow. That's that patented shot. Moving back to 11, but time's going to beat the WheelCats today. Matheson happy to allow some of those seconds to tick down as the clock goes under a minute remaining. Davoli, Matheson, skip past, Del Tosso, she'll shoot that. Long. Davoli sails in for the rebound. Ball sits on the rim for an eternity, but rolls off. Another rebound for Amber Merritt. Changes hands, puts it inside. Shots up and in. Willie Coulter. You can hear from the uproar in the stadium. Bit of a fan favourite. Always fantastic to see some of the development players get on the score sheet.
And that's what I was loving seeing on the other end when the WheelCats brought in that board. I mean, a rebound isn't the most exciting thing, but the WheelCats bench getting really around it, getting really supportive of their team. I think that's one of the things that you have to be pushing in a game like this when it's when you've really fought so hard, really come back quite well, but just not necessarily able to get that scoreline quite where you want it. You've got to stay positive, and I think the WheelCats really have that. They have a lot of younger players who really bring that energy and look to keep that kind of strength going.
Yeah, we've got a late timeout. Probably not so much to affect. Well, I think the game's gone, but maybe a little one or two things that Robinson may not have been overjoyed about. The WheelCats managing to get this contest under double digits.
Yeah, and I think they've done well to really bring that back. They've had such kind of up and down scoring for the WheelCats. WheelCats actually outscoring the Wonders in this quarter, and doing quite well to really be in control and at least not let things kind of get away from them. I think they've done well to just remain a little bit with that composure, and we saw them break a little bit with the Victoria Wonders press that was coming in, and the WheelCats just getting a little bit unnerved by that. I think they've done well to settle back into their normal selves.
Merritt pushes, pull down, gets it back, can't get it to go. With the steal, can't get that to go. She thought there might have been a touch of contact there, maybe. Gives Shelley Matheson a hug. It's a fitting way to finish.
Congratulations to the Victoria Wonders winners tonight, 48-39.
Leading players.
I think as much as anything, she was surprised that she just didn't make that shot. I think she wasn't expecting to kind of come up short with that shot. She's had a fantastic morning, I should say. Shooting wise, and really she didn't have as much court time as we would necessarily expect, but still coming away with 13 points, 13 rebounds, being absolutely incredible for the WheelCats, but the Victoria Wonders just a little too strong across the board.
Yes, we see the players exchanging fist bumps, hand slaps, all sorts of things with the officials. Yeah, it was a game played in fantastic spirit, notable for very few personal fouls and a strategy from the Wonders that the WheelCats were just unable to unlock. But more than likely, these two teams will see each other again somewhere as we head towards the finals at the State Basketball Centre in Melbourne at the end of August. A look at the raw numbers. The Wonders with 24 made 2-point field goal attempts. Rebound, it's pretty even, but the turnover count was really the Achilles heel for the WheelCats, turning it over 22 times in total, which was an improvement given that they sat at 14 at half-time.
Yeah, as I've said, I think the WheelCats did well in that second half to really recover back into more of their style of play and not kind of fall prey to the way that the Victoria Wonders were absolutely abusing every little weakness that they showed. We should say that the Victoria Wonders did shoot a 16 extra, or had 16 extra shots at the basket to the WheelCats. And I think that is just a factor of that pressure that the Victoria Wonders put on so aggressively against the WheelCats.
You can probably hear in the background the strains of Happy Birthday. Players from both teams celebrating that. As we look at some of the highlights from the second half, Wonders getting some neat exchanges of passing. Tasha Ovens finishing that one. Laura DeVoli was the star scorer in the game.
That does conclude today's WBA match between the
Managing
PERTH
to
WheelCats and Victoria Wonders.
wheel
Thank
her
you very
way to
much
the
for
middle
attending
there.
and bringing your big game energy once again. We look
Sarah
forward to seeing
Houston
you
tried
on
hard,
October 6th.
came up with quite a few scoring options of her
Your
own.
PERTH WheelCats will take on the Gold Coast Rollers in the last game of the season. Sorry, 7th of August. I am 2 months ahead of myself.
Really DeVoli with that lovely pass there. Her first movement in the chair
Thank you
is
once
so
again,
quick.
PERTH, for bringing your big game energy and travel
I think
home safely.
that's kind of part of the reason that they play that kind of high starting offense. Is that Laura DeVoli, once she's on that move, once she's on the roll, she's so hard to deal with. She has such an elite layup. She's not necessarily an outside shooter, but her speed and agility is just the Achilles heel of almost everyone that she comes up against.
Everybody on the floor there. You can see a service dog on the far left-hand side. Might have heard him towards the end of the game, but certainly a family affair here at the Bendat Basketball Centre. That'll do it for round 4 of the Women's National Wheelchair Basketball League. As mentioned, both leagues, the men and women's leagues, take a short break now for the Commonwealth Games. We wish our 2 Australian teams, the Wombats, the men's 3x3 and women's 3x3, the best of luck in Glasgow. Australia has, I think, a gold and silver medal from the previous Commonwealth Games. Hopefully they can at least emulate those efforts. But this league will return at the end of the first week in August, and then a look ahead to the finals. These 2 teams absolutely going to be involved in those things. But on behalf of my co-commentator Campbell Fraser, it's Brendan Parnell signing off from Perth.
I'm Georgia, and welcome to William Buck, a firm that is reimagining the way advisors work. Come with me and take a peek behind closed doors. Exceptional advice comes from passionate people who feel empowered to shape outcomes. Our teams include audit and assurance, business advisory, corporate finance, restructuring and insolvency, superannuation, tax, and wealth advisory. These teams work together to create a tangible impact for our clients.
From the suburbs of Melbourne to the world stage, I'd love to see that.
Where style meets performance, I'd love to see that.
Supporting champions and inspiring the next generation, I'd love to see that.